So it's 9 months since I stepped into the role as potential chief executive, spending a couple of months paralleling Alan Talbot, who was in this role before, and 7 months since I've been in post. And it's a period that I've thoroughly enjoyed, full of challenges, and I hope that at this point in time, the world of audiology is moving faster than it ever has, simply because I can't imagine how it would have been moving if it was moving faster than it is at the moment. And just to give you an example of that, it's about 3 or 4 weeks since the White House Presidential Advisory Group on Science and Technology recommended that audiology become completely deregulated in the States because, quite frankly, reading between the lines, they were worried that the hearing aid market was dominated by non-American companies. They wanted a bigger market share, and they believed that they could get a bigger market share by having that deregulated. That was their view of the world, but not written in those terms. They also thought that the benefits of technology and the benefits of consumerism were not coming to the fore, and that regulation was in the way. So we need to be thinking, well, if the world is thinking about that, what does that mean to us? What's our stance on that? And in parallel with that, of course, there's exactly the opposite opinion out of Australia saying, gosh, the world here is not regulated enough. There's all sorts of things going on. That is the world of regulation. And as you all know, I hope, in North Staffordshire, they took the decision to completely decommission hearing aids for those with mild hearing loss and introduce a completely inappropriate test for those with moderate hearing loss. And that set a pattern of events tumbling around the commissioning groups in the country. And a few weeks ago, North Essex started a process of consultation in which they said they were going to follow exactly the same course. They was being as obstreperous as anything about it. And yesterday they issued a fantastic press release saying that as a result of the consultation, they have engaged with their public, they've engaged with the professionals, they've engaged very widely, and they've decided that their action was inappropriate, and they very much welcome the work of the NHS developing its national commissioning framework, which is about creating common sense and common standards around the country. And they welcome that, and we should applaud that enormously, because, yes, it does matter enormously to us, because if the world catches on to the fact that actually hearing aids are not beneficial to those at all, and therefore it's not worth the NHS funding those who have a real need, if the world catches on to that, boy, will the stigma and all of the issues that prevent people from making early approach to hearing, boy, will that have an impact. So this is important stuff. And this is an agenda that I've got increasingly embroiled in along the way, working with colleagues right across the sector. Fascinating. Within this same period, only 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago potentially, there was a research paper published out of the University of Bordeaux showing a research study of 3,700 people that have had a longitudinal study for 25 years of the impact of hearing on cognitive decline. And the results of that research show categorically that hearing aids restore an ability to hear sufficiently well that the acceleration in cognitive decline is inhibited with hearing aids as if people are hearing normally. The study also went on to explore the fact that it's not actually hearing in its own right that slows the cognitive decline. It's the social disengagement that is associated with lack of hearing. That piece of the research is hardly well publicised, but that's fantastic information for you guys, because what it means is that when you're engaged in conversation with your patients, with your customers, with your clients, if you not only concentrate on how you help them to take advantage of the hearing aids, but you concentrate and you provide services and opportunities for them to really consider how they should be engaging in normal everyday life, their community, their working environment, then you will be contributing to slowing down the potential aging effect of cognitive decline. This is kind of the last month's worth of headline stuff with which we're dealing. And that's why getting the society as your professional body, as the organisation in which you're members. That's why getting that right at the heart of being involved in these discussions, being able to add the value of spotting this, interpreting it, getting it out to you, advising you, and helping you to take advantage of all of this out there. And what's happened in the 7 months that I've been actively involved is that I've been working, Peter's been working, Council's been working, the Professional Development Committee's been working in making sure that we engage with these things, that we actually create an infrastructure for the society that allows us to take advantage of this and get that information out to you. That's all part of the value of you being members of the society. That's part of the hidden benefits in many ways. And one of the things that we're doing as in the society is making those not hidden benefits, but trying to make them transparent. And here's the core agenda that on a regular basis that we are dealing with as a society. You've heard about the governance. I'm delighted that you've approved the change to the articles. Governance is my bag. I know it's a bit of a sad thing to say, but I do work extensively in governance outside of this role. And quite frankly, the articles as they were fit for purpose when they were developed, but not fit for purpose in the organisation as it is now. And I'm delighted that you've approved the changes that we've introduced. We've put a lot of work into that. And those changes to the articles will allow the society to move forwards. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm just going to pick up two to talk about in a little more detail because this is a professional development opportunity today. And some of the things that I've just been talking about are about the membership services which are part of that. So let's just pick up the professional development activity. I want to talk about three things: CPD, points, fellowship, and development events. If I look at CPD, then what we've been doing for the last 5 years since the HAC was replaced by the HCPC, a world in which the regulation of your profession has moved away from the world in which you were told what to do and rules about your role into a world in which actually you're all professionals. How you exercise your professional judgment in the body of the profession is down to you. And how you use that and how you demonstrate your learning, how you demonstrate your commitment to the profession, how you draw on the profession, all of that's down to you. And we had a position in which we recognised the importance of CPD by giving you points for doing stuff. Yeah? Now, professional judgment is not about doing stuff, it's about thinking about stuff. And so we're moving on from a world in which we're going to be giving points for attendance at events like this, into which we're saying, the most important thing is how we guide you and help you to understand what your personal needs are for professional development, how we help you to think about your practice, how we expose you to the tools for thinking about your practice, and how we give you a better set of information to keep a good record of what you're doing, so that when it comes along to, if you happen to be audited on your professional development commitment, you've got a great story to tell that you've actually not only engaged in events, but you've engaged cognitively with the events, you've reflected upon it, you've looked at the impact on your practice, you've measured the impact on your practice, and you're using that to aspire to the excellence. Because that's what it's all about. It's about aspiring to the excellence. And one of the things that's frustrated me in the 9 months is when I hear a number of perspectives that kind of imply that you're not ambitious, that you don't, that you kind of do stuff for commercial reasons, that you do stuff because it's about your living. And what I know more than anything is that it's not about that. It's about you doing it because you get that great warm glow every time you help someone to avoid that cognitive decline that I talked about earlier, and that you actually get out there and can help people to live more effective lives and participate and create a better society because people are actively engaged in it and not put on the shelf simply because they can't hear that as well as they used to do. So professional development is about enabling you to look inwardly at your practice and have some great aspiration to say, I want to be the very best that I can be in that, and how can I demonstrate that? And so we're not going to simply give you points for turning up anymore. What we're going to do is to say, to demonstrate your professionalism, you're part of a profession, and most of what the society has done for you to date, I think, is to kind of push stuff at you. But being part of a profession is about being able to draw on the profession when necessary, but actually being able to contribute to the profession too. And what Sarah and Peter and other council members recognise is that actually it is about contributing to the profession, not just drawing from it. And what we don't do very well at the moment is to give the 1,600 members the opportunity to contribute to and develop and build that professional corpus, that body of expertise and knowledge on which everyone can draw. And so we're going to be moving more towards a space in which it is your society. The rules, the articles that we've changed make us more accountable to you, but the tools that we're going to be doing help you to make each other accountable to each other as well, and to engage interactively, not just to be pushed at. And so there's a whole bunch of stuff about CPD there. What does that mean for the fellowship? We've wrestled with the fact that for all good reasons, for history, people that have had a very good, long-standing position in the society have valued the title of fellowship as the pinnacle of the society. But that represented the world that I've just talked about, which is the world in which you were measured by what you did, not how you behaved and how you thought and how you constantly moved forwards. And we're in the process. We're just about to finalise the changes to what we mean by fellowship. And what we mean is something even more important to people than it has meant in the past. It's about the very pinnacle of the profession. And you can't be at the pinnacle of the profession unless you're demonstrating it's not just about the educational attainment, but that's a starting point. It's about proven experience, and proven experience is about how you practice and other things. It's also about the contribution to the profession that I've just talked about, and in part it's about contribution to BSHAA. And it is about contribution to BSHAA because the value that you draw on from the society is only as good as the value that collectively you put into the society. And if we are to have the meaningful engagement with the North Essexes, which has responded well, with the North Staffordshires that have responded incredibly badly, if we are to have the kind of impact that creates a world in which the profession of audiology is as respected as the other clinical professions are out there, in which we are listened to rather than ignored, in which we can have a meaningful conversation about what happens in the world of deregulation, regulation, who knows, we need to be on the front foot. And if we want to be on the front foot, then the society needs your contribution, your input, your commitment to the things that we're doing on your behalf as well. So that's all part of fellowship. And we want to create an opportunity for more members to apply for fellowship, a fellowship that's meaningful about the ongoing commitment and growth and maintaining your position and kind of revalidation, however much you see that as being a good word or a bad word as it has impacted across other clinical professions. Revalidation, demonstrating that you maintain your position at the very cutting edge of your profession is going to be important too. All of that means that development events will begin to change shape and we will begin to put more on, but we're not going to be relying, as in the past, on you participating in events that only the society has had. As we said about professional development, everybody's professional development needs are individual. Not all of that is going to be delivered by the society, but what we want to do is to make sure that the society delivers really meaningful and positive opportunities, which involve interaction as well as one-way push. More events next year. There's going to be a spring event. There's going to be an autumn event. The spring event is going to take place in both the south and the north. So on 2 consecutive days, we're going to run an event for those in the south, an event for those in the north, and similarly in the autumn, so that there is more opportunity. You don't have to travel as much, but equally, there's going to be an opportunity for those who can't get to the events to get some value out of the events, because we're going to be doing online activities as well along the way. And we're going to have a standard approach that is about really being clear about the learning outcome, because if we're clear about the learning outcome that's going into the design of the event, then it helps you in your reflective practice, and it helps you to keep your records, and it helps you to maintain your CPD log in a very effective way. But there's also going to be some preparatory material and some follow-up material, so that the event is not just sitting in splendid isolation, it's surrounded by a learning and development and reflective opportunity for you. It's a very different shape from what we've had, maintaining and building continuity. There's going to be some theory and practice, some very much hands-on. Really important that as we respond to an online agenda, we can only invest in these kind of events and get credible speakers if you can create a sufficiently big forum to bring people together, but we also want to go online after the event. So there's a real delicate balance in that. So there'll be bits of each in events, and so on. I promised that I'd talk very briefly about benefits as well. Hopefully what I've talked about is largely about benefits, but it's also in that context that I've said, Ask the Expert. The new website will create an opportunity to ask the expert. So there will be interactive means for you to draw on the body, the professional corpus, but there'll also be an opportunity for those who aspire to and achieve the status of fellowship. There'll be an expectation that as a fellow, you sign up to one of those experts who actually is willing to be the expert on the other end of the Ask the Expert. There will be the foresight and insight kind of stuff that I've talked about, which is about sharing that, and a chance to advance the profession and to have all of the collective influence. So a whole range of things. Interestingly, at Council, we had a meeting yesterday, and you'll have noticed this place is called the Orchard. You'll have noticed that many of the rooms are named after apples. We were in the Discovery Room yesterday at Council. Really fascinating. We decided we'd have Project Discovery, which is about how can we create a range of these membership services that you want. So watch this space for the output of that.